Viewer discretion advised. The following is an imaginative, fictional scenario presented as a what-if exploration, not a report of real events. When the news broke, the world of professional wrestling and pop culture stood still. Hulk Hogan, the immortal icon, was gone in this fictional narrative. But the story did not end there. In the cold, sterile environment of a medical examiner's office, a final chapter was being written. The initial reports were standard, citing age and a lifetime of physical stress. Then, whispers began to emerge from the autopsy room. Whispers of findings so unusual, so medically baffling, they threatened to reshape everything we thought we knew about Terry Bollea. This wasn't just about a cause of death, it was about the very nature of his life. The public knew him as a larger-than-life hero. Before he was a household name, Terry Bollea was a struggling musician and a promising but unpolished wrestler from Florida. He had the size and the look, but the magic wasn't quite there yet. That changed in the early 1980s when he entered Vincent K. McMahon's orbit and the WWF. McMahon saw more than a big man. He saw a superhero ready to be unleashed. He saw American strength and optimism. Rock and roll MTV, a charismatic giant. Hulkamania was born. It exploded across entertainment. It wasn't just a gimmick, it was a cultural movement. Hogan became the face of a generation. Lunchboxes, action figures, cartoons, television screens, his image was everywhere. Behind the superhero persona was a man, Terry Bollea, who was subjected to an almost unimaginable physical and mental grind. The life of a top wrestling star in the 1980s was a grueling cycle of travel, training, performance, with very little rest in between. Hogan was on the road for over 300 days a year, flying from city to city, country to country, carrying the weight of the entire WWF on his massive shoulders. Every night he was expected to deliver an explosive, high-energy performance regardless of nagging injuries, exhaustion, personal struggles. The pressure to maintain his chiseled, larger-than-life physique was immense and constant. To maintain his immortal image, Hogan followed an extreme lifestyle. His diet, training regimen, the 24-inch pythons were not just a catchphrase, they were a requirement of the job. This, combined with the widespread and often unspoken use of anabolic steroids in that era, pushed his body to its absolute limits. The cost of being Hulk Hogan was astronomical, and his body paid the price in full. Over the course of his career and into his retirement, he underwent a staggering number of surgical procedures. It became a running joke, but the reality was grim. He had at least 10 back surgeries, spinal fusions, insertion of metal rods to stabilize his deteriorating vertebrae. The damage from thousands of leg drops had compounded over time, leading to a condition where his spine was essentially collapsing under its own weight. Each surgery was an attempt to buy him a little more time with less pain. His hips were replaced, his knees repaired multiple times. Pain became his constant companion, a cruel irony. Beyond orthopedic damage, his lifestyle had other consequences. Years of performance enhancers strained heart, liver, kidneys. So the autopsy of Terry Bollea began just like any other, under those bright, unforgiving lights of the medical examiner's suite. But the routine procedure took an immediate and really unexpected turn. The first surprise didn't come from any organ, but from his skin. While his famously sun-baked leathery tan was expected, the pathologist noticed unusual density and elasticity. Dermal layer, epidermal layer. It was significantly thicker than average, almost like a natural form of armor. The report notes a cellular regeneration rate that was, for a man his age, medically inexplicable. It was as if his skin had been in a constant state of repair and reinforcement. Examiners then dug into his history. They cross-referenced findings with his career, and a startling hypothesis emerged. Could the skin thickness have contributed to his legendary hulking up moments? Fans thought it was pure adrenaline or showmanship. But the autopsy suggests a physiological component. As the examination moved deeper from the skin to the internal organs, the anomalies became even more profound. The most stunning discovery was found within his chest cavity. Hulk Hogan's heart was, to put it simply, enormous. Cardiomegaly, an enlarged heart, is common in athletes. It can result from high blood pressure, or from steroid use. However, this was different. The report describes the organ as not just enlarged, but structurally distinct. The muscular walls of the left ventricle, the chamber that pumps oxygenated blood to the body, were exceptionally thick and dense. Far beyond typical athletic heart syndrome, the tissue showed a unique cellular matrix with a far higher density of mitochondria than any previously documented case. His heart didn't just pump more because it was bigger. Each beat was more powerful and efficient, practically superhuman capacity. It reframes his stamina and those explosive finishing sequences. The examination of Hulk Hogan's musculoskeletal system yielded yet another series of shocking revelations, particularly concerning his famous 24-inch pythons. His impressive biceps were built by relentless training and at times chemical enhancement, but the autopsy revealed an underlying structural difference that made their size and strength possible. An abnormally high percentage of fast-twitch fibers primed his muscles for explosive power. His genetic makeup skewed toward power, not endurance. Pathologists noted tendon insertions at slightly different angles, giving him mechanical leverage advantages. A bicep insertion farther down the forearm creates a more effective lever. Explosive motions, tearing fabric, overpowering tests of strength, came easier. He wasn't just bigger, he was built like a more efficient machine, the perfect vessel for the Hulk Hogan character. The final and perhaps most telling discovery of the autopsy came from the examination of Hulk Hogan's severely damaged spine. Numerous surgeries, rods and screws to fuse vertebrae. Yet the bone density, even beyond fused segments, was off the charts. Comparable to elite powerlifters, and still an extreme outlier. A paradox, an incredibly resilient spine, and tragically damaged. Density let him withstand nightly impact for years, a genetic gift built to endure punishment. But soft tissues, especially discs, were pulverized by repetition. When bone finally failed, the collapse was catastrophic. Blessed to create Hulk Hogan, cursed by the price of glory. The fictional findings of this autopsy do not diminish the legacy of Hulk Hogan. They amplify it. They transform the myth into something tangible, grounding charisma and feats in imagined biological possibility. His influence is immortal. The right man at the right time, a cautionary tale. Even the strongest structures break under enough stress. Hero, human, marketing genius, and in our fiction, a biological marvel.